Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stacey West Preview Show. I'm your host, Jake Tongue. We've got another matchday preview this week for you. This time, Wycombe Wanderers at home, which means I've drafted in an old university friend of mine, Alex Broom.
We weren't friends, Jake. Don't pretend we were friends at uni.
Oh, brilliant. Nice fucking start, Broom. Fucking make me look like an absolute knobhead in front of everybody else. Anyway, how you doing, Broom? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Looking forward to Saturday. Just talking about football then, how are you sort of finding being back in the ground since obviously we had COVID last year? You missed a good year in the Championship as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm gutted I missed the year in the Championship because there's no guarantees we'll ever get that again, to be honest. So knowing that I've missed that and there's a genuine possibility, we're doing all right this year, but I wouldn't say we've got guaranteed promotion by any stretch of the imagination. So it's a bit sad that we're it's a bit sad that I might have missed my only chance to see Wycombe in the Championship, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Let's touch on last year then. Obviously, it was quite a controversial relegation, wasn't it? You guys come down at the expense of Derby County. There's court stuff going on surrounding that. Can you just give us a bit of insight into what's going on?
Well, essentially, the long story short is Derby had really dodgy accounts and they just delayed pushing it until after the deadline and then got a deadline for the EFL. And once that deadline had passed, they couldn't be relegated, essentially, even though they knew full well that they're going to be dot points for their dodgy accounts. They just deliberately delayed it. So the points deduction would come this season rather than last season, which, I mean, if you're a Wycombe fan, but when we got relegated by 1 point, you're going to be pretty annoyed, aren't you? They've deliberately got an extension, even though the accounts were ready, just to keep themselves in the Championship. It's just completely and utterly not fair.
Yeah.
It's a little bit ridiculous. So we suffered at their expense, and now it's not. I mean, to be honest, I'm just happy to be back in the stadiums, but I can imagine Rob and Pete Couig and the people at the senior positions at the board of the club, they're going to be pretty annoyed that they missed out on a load of cash. Hence why Rob is taking legal action.
Obviously, you watched the games on iFollow last year. Do you think Wick deserved to stay up? I mean, they had quite a few good players in the squad, didn't they?
In the first half of the season, we were pretty much a laughing stock. We couldn't really find our feet. It looked as if it's a little bit we're a little bit out of our depth, and it was almost as if the promotion perhaps come 1 year too soon. But in the second half of the season, I think we ended the year 10th in the form table from the last 20 games of the season. So that's. But it's obviously it's mid-table form, so yeah, we absolutely did earn the right to stay in the league, in my opinion. Come the end, and we had so many poor decisions go against us, which is I know teams get them, everyone gets the odd one now and again, but genuinely and I'm not one to edit referees. You will not find a single referee complaint on my Twitter or anything. I generally just accept it for what it was, but it was laughable. The number of poor decisions that went against us. Then not just the number, it was just how bad they were as well. It was genuinely ridiculous, but it is what it is. There's no point crying over it and dwelling over it. You got to try and do well the next season. That's exactly what we did. Started season League One really well, in a little bit of a blip at the minute, but hopefully that comes to an end on Saturday.
Yeah, obviously you guys have come down to League One with a different set of expectations, really, haven't you? Because I remember when we came into League One, you were looking, the first year that you was in the league, you were looking to stay up, wasn't it, when you got promoted out of League Two? And now it's completely different, isn't it? You guys are looking to bounce straight back up to the Championship, where you guys think you belong.
Yeah, definitely. The aim, Ainsworth said from the start of the season, is we want to get back to the Championship. And I quite like the optimism. He was Ainsworth was pretty level-headed as well. When we did come up from League Two, we just want to survive. Then the next season was let's just build and try and improve, and it ended up getting promoted. So he's not always realistic with his expectations. And I've listened to a few interviews and podcasts he's done ahead of this season, and he said that I want us to finish in the top 6. That is the aim. We want to get promoted. The confidence seething through the management, and it definitely filters down into the players, because the squad we've got now is very, very good. It's definitely the best team whilst in at Wycombe. In my opinion, it's probably better than the team you had in the Championship last year. Definitely in terms of depth, perhaps not quite in terms of the actual strongest 11 we can field. I still think the team you ended the Championship last year with Onyedinma, Musquet and Nick Piazzu, those 3 players would almost certainly all get into our team right now. So it's a little bit of Like we've probably got a stronger squad, just a weaker starting 11, in my opinion.
Talk about your gaffer then. Obviously, he's very
Yeah.
well loved in these parts. I know you're quite a fan of Gareth at the minute. How's it going with Gareth? Obviously, the longest serving manager in the EFL as well.
He's not actually the Harrogate manager. I forgot his name. Is it
Simon Weaver?
What's the name?
Simon Weaver.
Simon Weaver. That's the one. I don't know where I got Paul from. Yeah, he's actually longer serving, but he doesn't really count. He's not managed in the EFL for the whole period, does he? So
No.
the actual, in terms of managing the EFL one club, it definitely is Ainsworth. But anyway, back to the actual question. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely adore him. I have done ever since really. I think it was probably about 2014 after we just survived in the Football League on goal difference on the last day. Since then, we've just had, it's just only really been good times, really. I mean, near enough every season we've got better since. I think there's one time we finished fifth, then we dropped, we finished fourth, sorry, then we finished, I think it's 13th the following year. But other than that, we've got better and better and like kept climbing the leagues every season. So it just shows what you can do if you give a manager time to build his project, to actually like build his foundation, get his own players and get his own squads in, and just shows you what he can build. Because when he first got the Wycombe job back in 2012, he was no way near the manager he is now. So he's been improving on the job like year by year. I've been able to attract better players. Like he's a genius in the transfer market. He's a brilliant man manager, great motivator. He's probably not the best tactically. I think he'd probably be the first to admit that himself, but that's okay when you've got an assistant manager, Richard Dobson, who knows the tactical side of the game really, really well. So it's just a great combination to have, and it's just brought really good times to the Wycombe fans in the last 7 years now, really. So I think anyone who's just started supporting in the last 7 years, like they're probably thinking, oh, it's always really good being a Wycombe fan. It's not. Before that, trust me, it really was anywhere near as good as this.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get a good reception down here on Saturday. So obviously Wycombe have been busy in the transfer window. Well, kind of busy. Lewis Wing on a permanent deal from Middlesbrough, and then you had Young coming from Newcastle as well. And then obviously, just in terms of key men as well, I've written down one name, Broom. I know you'll know exactly who it is. It's Sam Vokes. Talk to us a little bit about the signings first, about whether you're excited.
The signings were definitely needed in central midfield because Matt Bloomfield's had to retire because of head injury. He actually picked up one against Lincoln, all those when we played you in League One last time, and he had to wear a headband pretty much every game since then. And then he got another concussion at Exeter, and the doctor just said, "Look, that's it, mate. You're doing your health risk if you keep playing." So. Much of the disappointment from him, because I know he'd want to continue playing until he physically wasn't able to. He was told to retire. And we've also had a few injuries in the centre midfield area to Josh Scowen and Curtis Thompson and Dominic Gape, all three in recent weeks. So it made sense that we signed a couple of centre midfielders, but we've been just having injuries coming in left, right, and centre in that position. So Lewis Wing started on Tuesday against Shrewsbury. I mean, I'm not going to say I was blown away from him with him, to be honest. He was okay. He did the simple things quite well. I was quite disappointed we didn't really get to see him unleash one of his long range shots, which he's quite well known for. But I think Jack Young probably. I mean, I wouldn't imagine he's going to be too much involved in the starting lineup. I mean, he might get the odd game here and there, but I think he's generally brought in I think Newcastle wanted him to sort of train with the first team in the EFL, just be good for his development. And if he does make the bench and goes get a few minutes, and great. But I think the real first team signing there is going to be Lewis Wing, I think. And do you say in other key players for Wycombe?
Yeah, I just put key men, and I know you're a big fan of Sam Vokes because you tweet about him nearly every week. So
Vokes is brilliant for how he plays. It's well known that Ainsworth plays quite a direct style of football, at least to getting it up into the final third. Like when the ball's in the final third, we actually play some all right stuff, to be fair. Yeah. But we need that outlet, and Vokes definitely provides that. He wins a lot of headers. His link-up play is excellent. You can tell he's played most of his career at a high level, but his attack position in the penalty area is excellent, and he's a pretty good finisher. He scored a few headers this season, I think including one in the reverse fixture against you. So you know what he brings to the team. Like, it's not a secret. He's not going to be your number 9 who runs in behind and stretches the defence out. That's not what he does. He occupies the centre half and creates space for the more what's the word? Silky, I guess, if you like, players such as Van den Handen or Gareth McCleary. And if you're asking for one key man, I probably would say it's McCleary. If he's playing to the top of his game, he's very difficult to stop at this level. He started the season really, really well. He scored 6 in the first 9 games or something. I think it definitely scored. I think there was 6 in the first home game, 6 in the first 9 home games, I think it was, which is pretty good. He's pretty silky winger, came from Reading in the Championship, and you can tell again that he's played hard in this level. Like, probably not as quick as he once was, but his footwork on the ball and the way he runs at defenders are really, really good. I hope Anis Mehmeti plays as well on Saturday. He's a player I'm a really big fan of. He looks like he's destined for the Premier League. I think he's probably the best young player Wycombe have had, I'd say, since Aberi Eze was on loan a few years ago in League Two. Like, he's just an incredible talent, and it's really nice to see him. He was originally signed to play for the B team, just sort of like, for want of a better phrase, just make the numbers and just sort of just get a few young players in the door just to really get a bit of a development squad together. But he's just taken the league, but taken his chance by storm, and he's really showing why it's important to bring young players in, and if you're good enough, it doesn't matter how old you are, but you're going to get a chance at Wycombe under Ainsworth, and that's really what we're seeing with him.
You've had no wins in 3, Broom. I know you're down to 6th, and you've got Wednesday and teams like that breathing down your neck. Are you worried about finishing in the top 6 at the minute?
Yeah, of course I'm worried. Like, I mean, I'm not. It's definitely not a formality by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think we will have enough strength to definitely finish in the top 6 come the end of the season. I mean, this is on record, so I'm not going to tweet you or anything, but like, you've got it on the record here. I do think we will. I mean, we've got quite a favourable, you could say, run of fixtures coming up, but that started on Tuesday against Shrewsbury, and that was, well, we absolutely battered them the whole game. We just couldn't quite get the goal. I think we hit the post. Their keeper made the EFL Team of the Week. I think we had 28 shots, 12 on target, and we just, for whatever reason, just didn't get the ball in the goal, which is frustrating for that point of view. But there are loads of positives from the performance. I think if we play like that on Saturday, I think we can play worse than we did on Tuesday on Saturday and win. Like, it was, the performance was nothing to worry about. It's just the result wasn't how it is. I mean, you know how it is in football. Sometimes you can just dominate a game, just can't get in. It's just one of those. I mean, they didn't send any alarm bells ringing around my head or anything. The 2 games before, what was it, MK and
Morecambe.
Morecambe. Yeah, that was dreadful. Yeah, that was absolutely awful. Yeah, those games were like pinging alarm bells, but not on Tuesday. Like, it's just one of those. Like, we did enough to win. We just didn't quite get the rub of the green. We just got to try and go and put that right on Saturday. Because I think if we don't get the 3 points, I mean, it's a tough game. It's like Lincoln away. Like, Lincoln have definitely picked up their form since before Christmas. So it's definitely not going to be an easy game. But I think realistically, like, if you go 4 games without a win at this stage of the season, you're just asking for a bit of trouble, especially in the promotion race.
Yeah. We touched on that game then earlier in the season. You mentioned it there with the Sandbox Scoring. Just curious to get what your thoughts are on Lincoln that day. I know obviously we weren't too impressive, but I wonder what your thoughts were on. I know you had a few beers beforehand, but you should be able to see the game.
Yeah, to be honest, I can't really remember much about that game. Not just because I was drinking it, just genuinely just a long time ago. I think just scored the goal and kept Lincoln at arm's length for the majority of the game. I don't really remember being too threatened, but then I don't think we were too threatening either after the goal. So I think it was just a bit of game management. It wasn't like a classic, really, was it? But it's just one of those wins that you look back on at the end of the season. If you do get promoted, you think that's an important win. Like the home games, which I always say the home Tuesday night games are really important. I know it wasn't a Tuesday, but it's just that some of these home games against like mid-table, let's be fair, probably arguably mid-table, and you've got to be really big. And I hate this phrase. You've got to really be winning the home games against mid-table sides if you're looking to get promoted. Like, it's just how it is. And I think the league's so competitive this year as well. Like, it's going to take like 90 points to get automatic promotion. Like, the standard at the top of the table is as good as it's been for quite some while. I think it's definitely got stronger since we were last here 2 years ago.
Are you surprised to see us down in 17th?
Yeah, I was actually. I've got to say. I mean, I know. I think I said to you, you're going to get relegated. I didn't actually mean it. I was just. I think it does highlight how tough the league is. I'm a big fan of Michael Appleton. I think He's a really good manager. Oxford were quite a local team to me, like local just in terms of location, nothing else. I mean, I guess that's what local means, really, isn't it? Like local locations in the club. But anyway, that's beyond the point. So I sort of a few of my mates support Oxford, so I sort of like kept an eye out for them, and he was a little bit similar his start at Oxford to what it was at Lincoln. I think the first season was a little bit just all right, just have a transition period. Then he got his own players in. And then you could just see exactly how good a manager he is. Like he's brilliant. I remember at Oxford, they just kept signing players like Chris Maguire in League Two. At the time, it's just like he's just come out of the Championship. How on earth has he dropped down there? But like players know what a good coach Appleton is. Like they got Kemar Roof and I think George Baldock up there in League Two. Like his contacts in the game are brilliant. I know for you obviously you've got Maguire. You signed the Callum Morton, who from West Brom. He's got links at West Brom. I know he's not with you now, but it shows like these clubs are willing to let their big players go and work under a manager they trust, which is Appleton for you. So yeah, I was to answer your first question before I went on a massive tangent. Yes, I was surprised to see you down in 17th, but I'm not surprised to see you picking it up a bit now. I think there's a few injuries and things which just now players are coming back. You saw Maguire. I remember I saw the game against Sunderland all over Twitter. I mean, you couldn't really escape that, could you? Like the hat trick there. Like I think it's just when you've got a fully fit squad, I think you're in a bit of a false position. I think seven down in 17th is a little bit. It's a little bit unfair. I'd put you. I'd say like I'd expect you to finish higher than that, definitely, but probably not as much as the top half. That would be my guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Predictions then, Broom, onto Saturday. I know you guys will think that coming away to a team that are sort of scrapping for their lives and for the safety in League
I don't think you're scrapping for your life. I think you'll definitely be safe. I wouldn't say that phrase. There's I could name at least 6 worse teams than you.
Yeah,
I don't think you're in a relegation fight, but you're like it's not going to be like I think scrapping for your life. I think you're a bit harsh to yourself. So I think that's not. I think that's not the right phrase. But anyway, go on.
5 points above the relegation zone after Tuesday. We were.
Come on, Wimbledon are sinking like a stone. Then you've got bloody Doncaster and Shrewsbury are pretty poor against us.
Gills. What about Gills?
Yeah, Gillingham were picking up actually under Neil Harris. That'd be they're one to watch. I could see them staying up. But if they hadn't got Neil Harris, I would have said, yeah, they're gone, but they're doing all right. I think even Doncaster got a win against Sunderland. So perhaps maybe I'm a bit quick to judge there, but no, I'm pretty sure you'll be all right. I'll be amazed if you go down.
Is it a game Wycombe are expecting to win, do you think?
Well, yeah, really. Like, I think, as I said, go forward without a win, that's really not good, especially this stage in the season. Like, it's getting down to the business end, we're into the final third of the season now. So I do really want to, I think if we don't get 3 points, it's a bad result. And that's not disrespecting the opposition we're playing. It's just the fact you can't go 4 games without a win and really expect to have any success at the right end of the table. So if you ask me for a score prediction, I'm just going to be boring and say 1-0 to Wycombe, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it finish 0-0 or 1-0 to you. I don't think it'll be giving many goals in. I think it'll be like pretty much every game we've played has been really well. No, not really. Only 2 of the 4, but you know how it is. Like, yeah, I'll say just a 1-0 Wycombe.
And before we end off, Bruno, I just thought it'd be nice just to talk about. Obviously, you was on the Wycombe Twitter account over the last couple of weeks with the match ball from the playoff final. Maybe just good to tell the listeners a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. I won. Back when we got promoted from League One in 2020, I won a match ball from the playoff final at Wembley. So what I decided to do with that was there was a fan who sadly passed away at a game in just before the season got postponed with COVID. Mark Bird, his name was, and he actually I think he had a cardiac arrest just before the game, and then an air ambulance came, and unfortunately, he passed away like pretty much at the on the way back to the hospital. And I just thought it'd be a nice little touch to just try and raise some money for air ambulance and just auction the ball off for charity. So I say auction, it ended up being a raffle. So we did a raffle within the club and raised I think it was £2,700 for Thames Valley Air Ambulance, which was pretty nice to do. I think tickets were only £2 a pop, so to have well over 1,000 people come and buy a ticket for that. Well, 1,000 tickets, so I guess more than one person bought a ticket. You know what I mean? Like, it just shows what a great club Wycombe is and how people are really keen to just come in the local community and do their bit for charity. Remember who I'm sure is a good man and raise money for a good cause.
Yeah, well, very good of you, Bruno. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. I know it's not really your thing, but you've
Well, it used to be my thing. I just I'm a busy man now, Jacob. I work full time.
yeah, me too, mate. Yeah, but thanks for coming on, bro. Massively appreciated, and potentially see you down at Lincoln on Saturday.
Yeah, I hope to see you on Saturday. It'd be nice.
Thank you, everybody else, for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week for another preview. Thank you for watching.